Hello friends, welcome back to another Value Vintage Cards video. Today I'm going to take a look at two sets that are very closely related. They're both from the same production, essentially. So you'll notice the images are exactly the same. They just come in basically two different formats. So the first one, they're the Sports Exchange series, if you're familiar. The first one is the kind of full-size W603. They are a 7x10, so they're basically the size of a page. There's over 100 in the set, so you get a pretty wide range of, there's some players that are more or less commons, and then there's up through some historicals, and then there's also some kind of like pre-rookies. So it's in that 46 to 49 range, so it's a series of years. And then there's the minis, which are more like the traditional card size. So the full pages are 7x10. The minis are like a 2.5x3. So it's a set that I wasn't really collecting. I had seen it existed, and obviously, if you're familiar at all with that set, you've got like a pre-rookie of, I think there's a Spawn in there. I know there's a Musial, and there's a Barra. So you've got these like pre-rookies, and then you've got some of these historical greats. You've got your Hornsbys and your, I think there's a Ruth in there. There's Gehrig. There's some really big like historical names too. And then you've got some common guys. So it's a weird mix of things, and it might be one of the reasons it doesn't catch traction. It's like a hand cut. I've got some fairly rough versions, and I've got some okay versions to show you. So just thought I would kind of explain a little bit about what you're about to see, and then run through this hopefully somewhat efficiently. One of the fun things, and I've got these in like 8x10 top loaders, so it gives you a perspective on how big that is. So these I bought 4 of them as one set, and all 4 were less than $100 with tax and shipping. So King Carl. Neat thing is, they've got facts and figures at the bottom. They give you a little fun write-up on it. Former New York Giant pitcher star, National League's outstanding sinker ball specialist. And then a really nice image. All of them you're going to see that I have like hole punches. So I don't know if somebody was putting them on a board or what exactly they were doing. That's not a standard part of the card. That's just the mutilated version I got. But when you get 4 really good ones for under $100, and the other one was actually in the same collector's inventory apparently, because it's got the same brutal butchering to it. But I think that's really neat. So I will take a King Carl Hubble, and you guys also know I'm a sucker for 2 things: the full name like that and nickname of any kind. So Carl King Hubble is super cool. James Emery Jimmy Fox. Gives a little story. I've seen a lot of these actually filled in where they have the facts and figures. People over the years wrote in. Nothing wrong with that. That's a great image. There was the smaller card available for this that I was watching. They're not cheap. I think part of it is a lot of them, they're hand cut, and they seem to be in pretty good shape. You do see a lot of them that are like 5, 6, 7s, 8s, really high grade, but they're hand cut. So, does high grade really mean as much when you're cutting it yourself? But they're not cheap. They're in the hundreds, but that's also not terrible. The images are really cool. I think that's a great looking shot of Fox. This is a great looking shot, and they're almost like mug shots. They're just so good. That's a great shot of Hornsby. Raja Hornsby, one of the National League's batting leaders, successful manager. And there's a million things you could have said about him. He was a monster. Probably, I don't know if it's even arguable, best right-handed hitter ever. Definitely somebody that I collect very hard. I would say really all the guys. That's one of the reasons I bought the lot instead of, sometimes I'll avoid lots because you end up getting a couple of guys you're like, I don't, that's not one that I'm even going to enjoy. But the 4 I got were all monsters that I enjoy. I've got quite a few Hubbles and Foxes, and I'd say Hornsby's in my top 10, and so is this guy. I also snagged a Lefty Grove who post-retirement ran a bowling alley probably not too far from where I live right now. So Robert Moses, Lefty Grove. I will say, I studying more and more things through baseball history. We got to do better with nicknames. 1 out of 3 left-handed pitchers is named Lefty. So I mean, that's, I get it, but come on, can't all be Lefty. So, but Lefty Grove, amazing. Absolutely in the conversation of best left-handed pitcher ever. And that's almost, downplaying the fact he'd be in the conversation for one of the best pitchers ever, period, regardless of which hand he used to throw. So those 4 were the big lot. The other one I said, you know what, I don't always get to collect his stuff. He'd probably be in the top, 1 to 5 if budget wasn't a thing. And I say this a lot. I kind of consider myself almost like more of like a fringe, 1A Hall of Fame player collector, because the ones are just so expensive. If you go out and say, I collect Ruth, Cobb, Gehrig, Mantle, Mays, like that's neat, but, you're going to run out of money real fast, and you're going to run out of the ability to even find, those items. So when I can snag one, I certainly like to. I think it's a fantastic picture. So again, these W603s, they're enormous. Henry Louis Lou Gehrig, idol of the American League fans and one of the greatest first basemen of all time. This was issued in 1946 to 49. That opinion has not changed. In fact, if anything, I would say maybe it's changed to the better. I would say now we just say he's the best first baseman. Stop the negotiating, stop the one of. Who else was in the conversation back in the late 40s? So, come on now. Yeah, I think he's number 1 on most people's list, and if he's not, then you put him 2, and I don't know who you put ahead of him. So that's on you. But I think that's neat. Those are the 5 full size. That's the W603s. 602s are card size. They're blank backs. So they are, all 3 that I have are slabbed. In fact, oddly, all 3 I have are Yankees. But what is neat is you go from having Big Lou to having Little Lou. So when you can double down on the Gehrigs, he's the only one I was able to do that with. But I thought, what a cool opportunity. So I picked up this thing second. I won this in an auction, whenever, weeks ago, months ago, whenever. That is a really, really nice example. It's a 6. These are given credit of being 1947s. So you're still talking pre-standard issues, right? So that's why when you get into having like a Musial or a Spawn in these sets, they're considered almost like a pre-rookie card. So super fun to have Lou Gehrig in both sizes. So W603, W602, if you're not as familiar, check those out. I think it's an amazing set. So I have 2 more, and both are players that I collect pretty hard. I imagine if I can find the 7x10 images of these, I will probably grab them as well. There's Bill Dickey. Cool image. Throwing off the gear, going after a foul ball, it would appear. So, super neat. Again, they're all blank back, so nothing exciting to look at there. And the last one is, within my collection, a big deal. As of right now, as I'm recording this, I don't think I've shown this yet. I don't think I have. If I have, I didn't even mean to. But if I haven't, I will show it more because I'm very excited to have that. So again, we talk like pre-rookies. So 1947 Sports Exchange Miniatures. I think the other set is just called Sports Exchange, the big page. So the pages are a year range. This one is always credited with being 1947, it seems. But hand cut, graded out as a 4. Nice image of Yogi. But definitely very happy to have that in the collection. Anytime you get those, pre-rookie classifications, that's always going to be a win in my book. So, fun set. If you're not as familiar with those, like I said, price-wise, most of the players, you're not paying crazy prices. They're going to fall somewhere between any other set in that, 40s range. Hand cut, so, that is what it is. Some people can't stand that. It's blank back. So it has, maybe some quote unquote disadvantages, but it is very, very rare in terms of finding a graded version or a nice version of it or a version of it, period. So it's not like looking at a 52 Tops where, right now there's more Mandals probably for sale on eBay than there are graded versions of the Barra. So when you look at, population scarcity and how easy it is to find, sometimes you got to just, jump and grab if you decide that that's a set you want to pursue. So, wanted to share those. I love that those two go together. I love that my Garrigs are, matching set. I'll see if I can find a Dickie and if I can find a Barra or whatever else. And, I don't think I'm done with those sets. I think I like them quite a bit and I think they'll continue to grow. Also, I will say, as I've added over the years, you see behind me, I've got all these like posters and 8x10s and things that are, framed and put on my shelves. I used to just grab like a cool 8x10 for, $6-7 and frame it. And it was just a copy of something. But if you're going to do that, think about that. You can also pick up an actual 1940s image card collectible of Hornsby, and this would be like $20, $25, whatever. Why would you not? So if you just need decorations, don't make it wallpaper, but good Lord, frame that or put that in a top loader and use that on your shelf. So I love it for that purpose too. That's another, exciting kind of dual purpose. It's not only a cool collectible, but you can put it out and it's, cheap, easy, really, really cool decor. So I'll take it. All right. That's my spiel. W602, W603, check them out. Late 40s, pre-Tops Bowman, Leaf, cool set. So see you guys on the next one. Thanks.